When did someone's attempt to make you suffer accidentally make you rich? My sister showed up at my apartment with our grandmother and her 17 suitcases without any warning whatsoever on a Tuesday afternoon. She's your responsibility now since you don't have a real career or a family to take care of, my sister announced while grandmother stood there clutching her purse and looking confused. I worked from home as a freelance graphic designer, which my sister considered playing on the computer all day. I've been handling everything for 5 years while you lived your little bohemian lifestyle, so now it's your turn to step up and be part of this family. She dropped a thick folder of medical information on my coffee table and headed for the door before I could even process what was happening. Wait, this is insane. You can't just dump a living person here without discussing this with us first. She turned around with that condescending smile she'd perfected since childhood. Watch me. I'm done sacrificing my life while you do nothing for this family, and I'm done with her. After she slammed my door, I turned to look at grandmother and gave her a sad smile. I figured since she was going to be here, I may as well make the most of it, but I really didn't know what a sad, dementia-ridden woman would add to my life. The next morning at 5:30 sharp, grandmother emerged from the guest room wearing a perfectly pressed pantsuit and started making Turkish coffee in a copper pot she'd pulled from her luggage, while I stood there in my boxers, completely bewildered. Your sister never let me make this because she said the smell gave her headaches, grandmother said with perfect clarity that made me question everything I'd been told about her condition. She produced a breakfast spread that belonged in a 5-star hotel, while casually mentioning she'd been pretending to be confused around my sister for 3 years because it was easier than arguing with someone who treated her like a toddler. Yesterday, she tried to spoon-feed me yogurt while I was reading quarterly earnings reports on my phone, so I just went with it. I burst out laughing so hard I nearly choked on my coffee, and grandmother grinned at me with such mischief that I knew we were going to be troubled together. We spent that whole first week having breakfast at 5:30 every morning, while she told me stories about racing motorcycles in the 70s and the consulting firm she'd built from nothing that my sister insisted never existed. On Thursday, my sister called screaming because her mortgage payment had bounced, and the bank mentioned something about a secondary account being closed. What secondary account? I only have one checking account. Grandmother picked up my phone while stirring her coffee and said loud enough for my sister to hear that she'd been covering the mortgage shortfall for 3 years, and by the way, the house was actually in her name. I bought it when they went underwater in 2008, but I'm done subsidizing someone who tells people I have dementia. She hung up on my sister mid-shriek and taught me how to make proper eggs Benedict while my phone rang non-stop. The next week, she was showing me photo albums when she got a text from someone named Richard asking why she'd missed their monthly lunch. That's your sister's husband's CEO, and I just remembered I've been getting him promotions for 15 years. That's the end of that, she said, and immediately texted back that she wouldn't be vouching for my sister's husband anymore since my sister had dumped her. He never once wondered how he kept failing upward, she muttered while showing me pictures of her teaching CEOs to ski in Aspen. My sister's husband got passed over for his promotion that Friday and couldn't understand what had changed. We were in the middle of a chess game where grandmother was absolutely destroying me when my sister's kids called sobbing about their college funds disappearing. Oh right, I moved those to a trust when your mother abandoned me, grandmother said while capturing my queen. Your mother never told them the money came from me anyway. My sister's real estate business started imploding when grandmother remembered she owned the country club membership my sister used for networking. She called them from our couch while we watched Jeopardy and canceled it with a detailed explanation of why, resulting in my sister getting escorted out in front of clients. That was satisfying, grandmother said while absolutely crushing me at Jeopardy because apparently she knew everything about everything. The family financial advisor called grandmother to confirm he should stop providing free services to my sister, and grandmother put him on speaker while she taught me to make baklava. Grandmother just laughed and said absolutely and offered him some sweets. We turned our mornings into this perfect routine where she'd teach me something outrageous like lockpicking or card counting while telling me about her actual life that my sister had never bothered to learn about, including the time she dated a senator and the fact that she spoke 5 languages fluently. Your sister never asked me a single question about myself in 5 years, she said one morning while teaching me to make sushi. You're the first person in decades who wanted to know me instead of just using me. Grandmother threw herself a birthday party at my apartment but called it a funeral for my fake dementia and made everyone wear black while she wore a bright red dress. My sister's husband arrived just in time to see his CEO doing shots with grandmother while she told everyone how she'd been secretly running my sister's life for years. My sister burst through the door and froze, seeing grandmother standing on my coffee table with champagne in one hand and her estate lawyer in the other. You said you were done with me, so I'm done bankrolling your life, grandmother announced. Your brother actually loves me. My sister's face shattered as she finally understood what she'd thrown away.